Go for it.
Oh, we are live. Oh,
And that's
welcome
what
to,
happens when the live button goes on 1 minute before your mouth shuts.
that's right. Welcome to the Lynn and Cheryl show. I'm Lynn Serrano, and you are.
I'm Sheryl Isenhour, or
If
at
only,
least I was before you hit live.
yeah, if only you knew what we were talking about. I think we were talking grandma's back. I don't know. But we'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. And look, we got Bob here. Hey, Bob. Thanks for
Hey,
being
Bob.
here. Love you. I love that picture of him and his wife.
Mhm.
Anyways, they both served our country in the Air Force. So, okay, which soon will be Veterans Day before we know it. But how are you, Cheryl?
I am good. I am, it's Wednesday. I started to say it's Monday. It's Moan Wednesday. Okay. But
Okay.
anyway,
Oh my gosh. And then we got Scott Ricard. We 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 were just talking about babies and when they were born. It was just kind of a funny conversation.
thank goodness we're way past those days.
Yeah, but you know what? I have a new baby coming in March, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, believe me, you don't. You have a new child coming into your family, not you.
Yeah.
Come on here and tell me you're expecting. I'm going to take out a loan on you. Okay.
Right? Yeah, shoot. If that happened, I'd be suing a few people. I'd be like, excuse me, gotta go look at my medical records and go sue somebody. Anyway, so you brought the topic today.
Okay. So when do you know when it's time? When do you know when it's time to quit having children? When you
You
get
know
old
what
enough
it's
you don't need anymore.
Hi, Michael. Gosh, we got all the great guys here today. So yeah, but when you sent me this topic, how do you know when it's time? I'm like, shoot, we could go on for weeks of when do you know when it's time for what? To quit, to
All
all
of it.
sorts of stuff.
When's it time to go forward? When's it time to quit? Is there a time in your life? I mean, let's face it, I'm not a young chick anymore. Is it time for me to start releasing IBD? Is it, which is my manufacturing plant? Uh, to me, there's never a time to quit working. I mean, I'm not ready for retirement. I could retire if I wanted to, and that's what makes it very easy. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you don't feel like you have to do it.
Now, if I don't want to work today, I just shut the computer down and I don't talk to
I've
anybody.
I've been your friend for well, we've been doing the show
Long
for over a
enough.
year,
Just
for long enough to know I have not heard you say, Lynn, I'm shutting the phone down or the computer down. So I don't think even when I was there, you were working.
well, I mean, to me, there's two things you can do. You can stay active or you can die. Sorry. And those seem to come side by side. I've watched too, after taking care of as many elder people as I have in the past, I notice when they stop, their time's near.
Yeah.
I mean, if you stay active, I mean, I played golf years ago with my son. I've done that. I'm done with that. I did, my grandmother taught me all the things that you're supposed to do when you get old, the cross stitching and the crocheting and all that stuff. I did that when I was young. So I ran my bucket list out of things to retire with. I can travel if I want to. I mean, in fact, I turn more down than I go with Jerry. But it's nice to know you can. I understand people. I remember the day when I couldn't, I kind of looked for the day that I could.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm at the point I can quit. I can quit. It's time for me to quit thinking about that. So, my grandchildren are grown. I think that's the worst part. I think you ought to have grandchildren after you're old enough to retire. Like you've got a chance to enjoy them. I mean, I was working way more hours than we want to talk about when my grandchildren were small. And when
Yeah.
my children were small. Um, I don't think they got this time frame worked out just perfect. But yeah, the main thing I wanted to do this is when's it your time to quit? whether it be something good or something bad? Is it time to step out? Is there a time in your life when you just need to say it was a damn good ride and go to the next chapter?
Well, some people say that some people, like even in the sports, athletes will leave when their career's going really great, on the upswing, as opposed to when it's on the downswing. Or the same thing, this topic is great of how do you know when it's time to start something new? Start a new venture or start a new chapter. I mean, you can have as many chapters you want in life. And we forget, like you said, it's because you know that you can quit if you wanted to, or you can retire if you want to, that it's an option there. You don't, or it's just like, you're at a party and you can eat anything you want. When it's there and you can have it, or you're on a cruise, you're like, it's not as enticing as when you don't have that option. Because for some reason we're always looking, that fight or flight situation. So again, it is nice to question yourself, when is it time to stop doing this or start doing this, or you know, you don't want to stay in the same routine. I
Well,
mean,
my life has turned from a small book of chapters into a huge novel. Okay. Some
I
of which
can't wait to
I
read
don't
that
want
one.
to read. Huh?
I can't wait to read that one.
Oh, God. There's chapters that probably do not need to be
Well, I
reconstituted.
want to read one that doesn't make print. I'll take the manuscript.
Hey, that's one reason I say everybody ought to write a book.
Shoot, those chapters I ain't gonna write in my book. That's for sure.
I will be honest, the only person that knows I'm going to use or knew basically everything about me passed
They're
away
gone.
over a year ago.
I was gonna say they're gone, aren't they?
There are
Again.
there are a few chapters, unless she's passing them on to somebody, that nobody knows about, and that's fine. That's a
Yeah.
good thing.
Yeah.
They weren't
Yeah.
bad. They didn't hurt anybody. They were young and dumb, and
Yep.
dumber and older, and
And we're not gonna put our name to it. That's all.
yeah, I'll write it and say it's all about you, but put some excitement in your life. I mean, I've had a good life.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
done basically what I wanted to do, but I'm not done yet. So that's everybody says, you need to sit back and take it easy and get over it. That's kind of overrated. So
Yeah. So have there been things that you say, oh, maybe I want to start doing that you thought of that you consider? No, because you've done it all that you want to do, right?
no, I just don't know if there's anything else.
Mm.
My bucket list is I've taken a few things out. The skydiving went away, and mainly because I got smarter or something. Something caused me to take that out of my bucket list. There's still things in my bucket list, but they're not quite as young and dumb.
Yeah.
And are there some travels I'd like to make? Yes, I'm trying to figure out how to do most of them without getting on a plane that much. I have got where I hate flying the amount to anything,
So
but
you're gonna stay in the USA.
probably not. But I'll get the burr to go somewhere else. I mean, I'd still like to make a trip to Italy. And
Mhm.
well, I mean, I got close. We went all around it, that direction, just never got there. Um, like I say, there's a lot of things I'd like to do. It's just it's got to get important, like
Yeah.
really important. Right now, the important things I've got people here I'm working for with, trying to help. And I've always thought that was my destiny anyway, was to make sure everybody else got help. And
Well, that brings you a lot of joy. That
it
brings you a
does.
lot of
I mean, I didn't take care of all these parents and everything because it was fun.
yeah.
It brought me the looks in their eyes when things went good, and it's like coaching, and you coach some, or anything you do, seeing the light bulb go off in people's eyes, that
Yeah.
that makes my day. I mean, it's you're standing in front of a crowd doing a speech, and all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, is anybody out there here with me? And then all of a sudden you see this one person just glow, and it's made the whole thing worth it. And it gives you new energy. And then all of a sudden you see things start sparking off of other people. And you come off the stage really, really impacted.
So when you were teaching or when you were learning Zig Ziglar stuff, did that really fire you up at first? Like, were you just really on fire from the things that you learned that you wanted to teach?
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
still does. I mean, we don't want to talk about how much paraphernalia we own over here, all kind of things. And I still love to listen. I was listening to some stuff just the other day, and it, he spoke the words that I feel. Is that a good way to put it? I think there's
Yeah.
always somebody that does it. And so he was one of the people that spoke words that I could deal with. And being just in the company of his family makes a whole lot of difference. Knowing that I can pick up the phone and call Tom or Julie or any of them at any given time, does it give me a good feeling? Yes, because there's been times I needed their help because there was something about their dad I couldn't get worked out. So that's been nice for me.
So,
I don't have to have a whole lot of important people. I just like to have, I like to be surrounded by people that are progressive.
so from a Zig Ziglar point and as a coach, how would you answer this question? I mean, how would you help someone answer this question for themselves?
Which question is that?
Well, how do you know when it's time?
You know, the thing about it is Zig had a lot of things in his life that were marked different ways, like writing books. I'll just tell you that. Everybody was always asking Zig, how do you write so many books? And Zig told him he had never written a book. He wrote a page and then another page. And before you knew it, it became a book.
I love that. So
And
it wasn't his intention to write a book; it was an intention to write a page.
he said
Which,
he never intended, he wrote basically every day.
wow,
He sat down and wrote.
yeah.
And from hearing what was said, he never intended to write a book.
See, and that's a good point there because I feel like so many people intend to say, I'm going to go and coach or I'm going to go help people or this is my intention and I'm going to do it because I want to make money. And so their purpose of doing things are really for the wrong reason. And again, his writing wasn't for any intentions of what was going to come out of it. His intention was just to do something and then to share it with the world. So I love that because that's how we should, I'm going to be nice to this person just to see what the hell I get out of it. There's too many people running around like that.
Well, he
And
got extremely rich. Okay, we're
yeah,
going to put it that way.
hmm
But there was never an intention of being rich.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. But again, and of course, like they say, if you help other people, eventually you'll get what you want. But
Mhm.
so many people have that misconstrued. So many people it come from the edge of do this for me. And it's what is in it for them and never. And so how do you know when it's time to quit? I mean, like there's a lot of network marketing companies that I just don't like their model. I just don't like the concept. I don't knock them. I've got lots of friends in network marketing, but I'm just saying the approaches and the way people present themselves and their intentions. You know, it, you got a product, great, but don't force it down my throat or don't make our friendship be the part of the product and not of the friendship. And I think that's again, people don't understand that until people know, like, and trust you. Are you going to get anywhere? So Zig Ziglar, knowing that he was just sharing, that's just somebody that's, found his purpose to share and
Yeah.
was blessed because of his shares.
some people will understand this next statement or two, and some won't, and it
Mhm.
really doesn't matter. But the thing that I can tell people is listen to the whispers.
Yes.
And Zig did that. That's what kept Zig up. Zig went from broke, nothing, but he started taking little spoonfuls and building stuff up. But I'm a true believer. I've never asked him, okay? But I believe he just listened to the whispers. And when they came, he reacted.
Mhm.
He didn't wait for him to walk out and beat him over the head. And I mean, we know Glenn, that's one of his things
Yes.
too. Listen to the whispers.
Mhm.
I think I've done that all my life. I used to think it was my grandfather after he passed. Is that a good way to put it? And part of
Yeah.
it probably were because we were just so close. But I don't think it's any one particular person or entity. It's most of it's in your own head. I'm sure it is. It's that spirit that's in
Mhm.
within you. But listen, don't let them pass you by. Don't wait years to live to hear a whisper.
And it's funny you say that because I used to love writing, and I mean, I would do free verse poems and things like that, and I have a lot. I have a tote like this big that has all these empty notebooks because I do love to put pen and paper, and I was just thinking of that the other day. I've got all these notebooks that I can give away or whatever. It's like, no, I need to start writing back, and writing in there. Because when I would read the things I wrote, sometimes I'm like, wow, it is amazing what you can write, you know, with that's within you.
And if I
So
hear somebody say something that resonates, I like to jot a note down. And it may not do me any good for months,
mhm.
but one day you'll pick that note back up and it'll be the right day.
Yeah.
So
So hi
I,
Ted.
everybody's got to believe in something. I have my beliefs.
Hmm.
Sure you do. Everybody on here probably has a little bit of a different one. But I don't think there's anybody out there that doesn't believe that they're not the only person in this universe.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. That's one of the things we realize, we all got opinions.
Yep. So we're not going there either. That's
Yeah.
a whole new rabbit
I
hole.
always say everybody's got opinions, but I did learn that, my dad does have an ostomy bag. So, some have it, some don't.
Well, I mean, and your opinions probably are not all that bad. It's
Yeah,
just the intention behind the opinion.
right.
If my opinion is just showing you that you're stupid, I'm
Mhm.
wrong with that. If my opinion is maybe stopping you from taking the wrong path, I look at that as good. But if you don't want it, don't take it.
Yeah, but don't ask without having an open mind either. You don't have to take someone's advice, but see it from their perspective because you didn't see it. You may have not seen it from that side or that
Well,
view.
if people ask me, and you know me well enough to know this, people ask me something that I'm pretty sure they don't want to hear the answer to, I give you a buyout. I will literally look at you and say, are you sure?
Yeah.
And if they say yes, I give you two. I'm good on double dosing. It's like, are you really sure? Now, after the second one and you buy in with a yes, back up and hold on because it's coming. So, but I sometimes it helps people. Sometimes I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, no, I think you're very wise, and your opinion matters to me. And I know when I'm pissed off, guess who I call?
and she
I
talks
call.
a lot when she gets pissed off.
Oh yeah. And when I don't and there's times I just don't need to say anything. But yeah, but you'll know when I'm mad because I
I'm a good listener.
Yes, she is.
But when it's time to call.
Yeah.
I haven't quit yet. So back to what we were talking about. When is it your time to quit something?
Mhm.
Be it a negative in your life or a positive that can move you to the next chapter.
Yeah. Or how do you know when it's time to start something new? Or remember this. I mean, there's so many ways to do anything, or there's many ways to go from Montana over to Cheryl's house. And I mean, there's a point where you go, okay, I'm either going to make it there or not there. Or you say, you know what? There's different ways you can go, side streets, back roads, all these different ways. But when you've exhausted every way you can get there and you realize whether it be the weather or whether it be the roads or whether it be whatever, you get to a point where you say, look, it's not safe to go there. There's storms, there's whatever. You have to exhaust all your options. And then you have to ask yourself, how do you know when it's time to say, screw it, I'm not making it to Cheryl's house? I mean,
Just what meant
planes,
to be.
yeah, and so again, but don't beat your head, to a pulp, because if your desire and your passion to go or do that isn't there and you're trying to take the actions, it's not going to happen, people. It's not going to happen.
I get really, I hire a lot for a living. I'm so tired of people saying, I've worked at this job for 20 years and I've hated it. Why?
Yeah. It's like people in marriages, though, too.
Yeah. I mean, if there's more jobs, I just never understood. I've always enjoyed what I did. I mean, I enjoyed the limo service till I got tired of hearing the 16-year-olds wanting to know how much daddy wants to know how much your limo is. And so I told my secretary, I said, the next time that's said, I'm closing the business. And it was about 15 minutes and the phone rang. And it was like, my daddy wants to know how much that your limo is. I said, put her on hold. So anyway, she did. And I said, you tell her that all of our limos are rented, which they were, and let it go at that. And I said, at this point, that's the answer for everybody. And I put the limo up for sale the very next day. It was time for me to quit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, you know what they say, if you don't, too many cooks in the kitchen, but if it's too hot in the kitchen, sometimes you got to get out. So, but anyhow, I think we've beat this topic to the pulp. I think it's time to move on. Anything in closing, Sheryl?
No, just look at yourself, listen to the whispers, take the direction that works for you so you can be happy in life.
Sheryl, guess what? I love you.
Love you too, kid.
Thank you for being here. Always a pleasure. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound.